Hey guys, it's Ken Maxfield. I'm the Hide Guy, and I am also the owner and managing editor of the Maxfield Report. And this is our market recap for the week ending November the 1st. Last week started out with Packers entering the week in possession of sold forward positions that were deemed to be probably the strongest we've seen, maybe even the entire year. This is, on the heels of some decent sales over the course of the past couple months. As a result, a lot of the offer lists were a lot less populated than they had been, say, 2-3 weeks ago. Some of the Packers, though, did continue to have full offer list, and I think some of that's attributed to the fact that we're still seeing a large number of animals harvested each week. But that said, so not as many hides for sale as far as asking prices. Interesting enough, asking prices were left unchanged with the week prior. I thought maybe we might see some attempts to get a little bit more money, but maybe I interpreted that this being Packers are trying to play it a little close to the vest. They don't want to try to goose this thing too fast, too hard. We have seen some decent interest, and so they wanted to continue to try to sell forward at steady levels. As far as the interest last week, started out as expected, a little bit slow. By the middle of the week, things started to improve. The buyers willing to show their price ideas at the start of the week were trying to come in at prices lower than the last traded levels. They quickly found out Packers had no patience for less money. Those who needed hides stepped up, paid steady prices. So the comments from the guys selling the hides were, it's a lot easier to get steady levels than it has been a couple, 3 weeks ago. But that said, you try to get a nickel more, it's really tough to get more money on hides. So overall, I would say the week was a decent week for the sellers. Steady prices. Consensus of the trade, maybe not as many hides sold this past week as last week, though. So, but still, overall, I think Packers very well are pleased with how things went last week. As far as the Calhides, they also entered with lists that were a little bit not as populated as the week prior. Some guys still had full offer list. There has been a good round of business on lower grades. A lot of branded cows sold, a lot of native cows sold. Those seem to be up off the bottom a little bit as far as their lowest prices traded. Asking prices this past week, they left those unchanged. For the most part, the bids came in a little bit slower at the start of the week. They picked up midweek, but overall the consensus of the trade was there wasn't as many bids to choose from this past week as the past couple weeks. As far as trading levels, steady without a doubt, and even instances of some slightly incrementally higher levels, especially on those branded cows. So saw a little bit of an uptick there towards the end of the week. So all in all, a pretty good week for those selling hides. As far as the harvest last week, came in a little higher than expectations, 655, one of the largest of the year. That compares to 640 last week and 653 a year ago. Year to date, we're at 27,802,000. We're 1.1% higher than last year. If you've been following this blog, even from the start, I've been saying we're going to be up about 1 to 1.5% this year, and we're tracking right at that. It'll be interesting to see the end of the year. I think we're going to continue to see big numbers. Beef demand is outstanding. In fact, Packers were able to move box prices last week, $10 a hundredweight. That ends up being about $80, $85 a head. They had to give up about $2, $3 on the live, but that's about a $25 bill. So net Packers added another $50, $55 to their bottom line last week. That's why we're thinking that we're going to see another big knock again this coming week. So things are rolling for the Packers. They're making money. So as far as the export report, almost got ahead of myself there. A little bit surprising. Thought it'd be a little bigger, but whole cattle hide sales, 478,000. Shipments a little disappointing. Only 422,000. I thought that number would be bigger because we've got to get these hides to China before the 15th of December, or maybe the 15th of December really isn't a problem for these guys. They're not acting like they're in a hurry to ship because that 422 is not a big number. On the wet blue sales, a little disappointing, 77,000. That's substantially lower than the last 2-3 weeks. And as far as exports, decent at 144. So a bit of, I would say that export report was kind of neutral to slightly bearish on, the sales numbers. But again, these guys have sold so many hides the last 2 months. That's why you're seeing this market, resting at very steady to firm levels. Going around the world real quick, Our friends in Europe, they're singing a similar song as our friends in the U.S. They're saying that, appears the market's bottomed. Some selections are up off the bottom as far as steers, even cowhides. Female selections still a bit tough to sell, but they are moving. Tough to get more money on that. But overall, I think, the market there, as I said, has seen a bottom. There's still a few hides out there for sale, maybe a couple that can ship for prompt shipment, but not like it was here, say, 4 to 6 weeks ago at all. Going down to Brazil, even, little change on there. Although, fresh prices slipped a little bit last week, it seems as if this African swine fever that we've been talking about is allowing the lighting guys who can't get pigskins coming in and buying some of these low-grade Brazilian wet blue and crust. I'm not saying that the market's bottom down there, but it's certainly appearing as if there's a little bit of support. So maybe the pressure to keep going down, down, down is clearing. And with all other, areas around the globe reporting that, the market has bottomed, they're seeing a little better interest. No one's waving the flag by any means. We're going, substantially higher from here. Maybe Brazil's going to follow suit here and come in and we'll see some support for that market as well. In Australia, our friends down there, similar story as everywhere else. Better demand on their lower grades. Their better hides are moving easily. Prices are up a little bit there, roughly 50 cents to $1 on most every selection. Again, no one's waving a flag saying we're going to the moon, but at least a little better tone. So that's all good stuff. As far as what's going to go on next week, that one, my friends, check into my website. Sign up for a free trial. We don't require a credit card. 14 days free. Every Friday I give my fearless forecast. You'll know before anybody else what's going to happen next week. So check it out. www.themaxfieldreport.com. 14-day free trial. So until next week, we'll talk to you then. Thanks.